Good evening and happy Thursday to you. My name is Sarah Otieno. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. You can use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and talk to us. Also through the SMS line 20316 on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316. Well, we have been having people complain that, you know what, Kenya haina pesa. Right now, with the current situation, there is no money. So today we'll be having that discussion. Where is the money? Where can you get money? What are the mistakes that we are doing? Yes, and is our country really broke? We'll be talking to one Victor Osewe in a couple of minutes, but for now we get it started. The Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka today announced that the 12-member Senate Mediation Committee selected to find a common ground in the county revenue sharing formula impasse has finally reached a consensus. The formula is now in the Senate plenary for debate and possibly adoption. And the Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, a member of the committee, was one of the first to laud his colleagues for their achievement. Following the announcement, the Senate Business Committee initiated the publication of a supplementary order paper for the special sitting to take into account the committee's report. The committee is expected to articulate how the 366.5 billion Kenya shillings will be shared out to in the next financial year. If adopted, the curtains will finally close to the long-running issue in the Senate that has threatened to split the House.
That for the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Further, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(2)(b) of the Constitution, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, takes account the resolution of the Senate on the third basis for revenue allocation and the debate thereon, and further take into account additional factors including pastoralism, the livestock sector, the blue economy, the extractive industries, and wildlife and conservation in determining principles and parameters of equitable sharing of national revenue among the counties moving forward. The simulation is as in the order paper. There is no way I can read the entire simulation. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion. Thank you.
Well, this is currently ongoing in the Senate right now as we speak, and that there is Senator Johnson Sakaja of Nairobi County explaining how this revenue will be shared across the 47 counties. Well, let's wait and see what that unfolds. Well, Kandara Member of Parliament Alice Wahome has defended her move to petition removal of Director General of the National Metropolitan Services, that is Mohamed Badi, from the cabinet. Wahome says the Constitution does not allow an extra person to sit in the cabinet, apart from the members stipulated in Article number 152 that states the composition of the cabinet. She faulted Attorney General Paul Kihara for not appropriately advising the president on his decision to pick Major General Badi to become a member of the cabinet. On Wednesday, the MP said she filed her petition in High Court under a certificate of urgency, and she was awaiting the court to state the date when her petition would be heard.
You cannot have an extra person sitting in the cabinet, swearing an oath of office under the Constitution, and especially and particularly when that particular person, Major General Badi, is actually a military officer. This Kenya is a civilian secular state, civilian government, and a civilian government also has the military, which offers defense, and that's why we have the Ministry of Defense. It is not possible to have a military general sitting in the cabinet before he has even been approved by the National Assembly.
All right, and in other news, 183 people have tested positive of coronavirus, pushing the total tally in our country to 36,576. And this is according to a statement that was given by the Ministry of Health today. The new cases are from 4,188 samples that were tested, and 14 out of the new cases are foreigners, while the rest are Kenyans aged between 8 months and 80 years old. Further, the Ministry of Health announced that 131 people were male, while the rest were female, that is 52, and 82 people have recovered from the virus, while 5 more have succumbed to coronavirus.
Today, from a sample size of 4,188, we have gotten 183 people positive, bringing our total case cost load to 36,576. Of these cases, all are Kenyans except 14 who are foreigners, with the youngest being a 7-month-old infant and the oldest being 80. In terms of our recoveries, today we have 82 people that have recovered from the disease, 33 from the home-based care program, whereas 49 have been discharged from various health facilities. And so with regards to total recoveries, we stand at 23,611. And as mentioned earlier today, celebrating healthcare workers, noting that their safety is important, we continue to thank them and appreciate them for the good work done. With regards to our fatalities, sadly, we have lost 5 patients to the disease, bringing our fatality to 642, and we extend our condolences to the family and friends of those who have lost their loved ones.
All right, your name is Evans Ragira. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Halafu huyo anaitwa Edward. You're saying, hello Sarah, I'm also tuned into the show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You can also tell us where you're listening in from or where you're watching us from. Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 SMS line 20316. And you're saying, I am a regular listener. This is Joseph from Joro. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Well, remember the discussion that we are having today. Where is the money? So I want to hear from you. Do you think Kenyans are broke? Do you think Kenyans are broke, or even Kenya as a nation? Do you think we are broke? Send in your responses to 20316 on SMS. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Well, the Deputy President William Ruto has asked the Council of Governors to reconsider its decision to shut down the counties. He said there was a better way of addressing the stalemate, and the Deputy President urged governors to take advantage of the Supreme Court ruling that unlocked 50% of their total allocation. The DP said the partial shutting down of counties would derail the country's development agenda, adding that counties were an integral part in ensuring equal distribution of the resources. The DP Ruto spoke today in his current home during a prayer meeting that was attended by Kajiado County faith and political leaders.
And I want to ask the counties, and I want to ask the Council of Governors, shutting down counties is not a solution. And it's not a simple matter. The shouting match between governors and senators is unnecessary, because the Supreme Court has already given directions. I want to urge the Council of Governors to sit down with the Treasury as guided by the ruling of the Supreme Court, agree on how they are going to receive 50% of the allocation as is provided for, as they wait for the formula to be agreed upon. No county should be shut down, because there is a way they can receive resources to make sure that counties are moving forward, so that we don't shut down our hospitals, we don't shut down our counties, because counties are an integral and an important part of moving our country forward and ensuring that the country is developed equally in every part of Kenya.
All right, still in that news, the County Assemblies Forum has directed county assemblies to shut down operation from Thursday, the 24th of September, if the Senate will not have agreed on the third basic revenue sharing formula. The forum supported the move by the governors to shut down counties, saying the Senate must take responsibility, and the organization said counties shouldn't lose money that has been proposed for the new formula, that the new formula should only apply to an extra 58 billion that was given.
Us, with and support the decision made by the Council of Governors to send an essential staff. And in this, as county assemblies, we want to emphasize that we expect operations in our health sector to continue seamlessly despite whatever happens, whatever circumstances. We should make deliberate efforts to ensure that our health sector is not affected at all by this shutdown, especially these times of COVID-19 pandemic. And therefore, the relief suggested is for 2 weeks or until a solution to the current impasse is found. And we are asking that assemblies also shall close down on Thursday, September 24th, 2020. In the event that Senate, which is meeting on the 22nd of September 2020, if they don't come up with this formula, then assemblies are also going to shut down on the 24th of September 2020. This will definitely cause a huge disruption of service delivery, but we are asking that counties, in consultation with the Controller Budget and the National Treasury, be allowed to utilize local revenue at source to ensure that the delivery of essential services, particularly in the health sector, continues uninterrupted despite the shutdown.
Well, nevertheless, a service delivery continued in most counties as governors delayed the implementation of the proposed shutdown by the Council of Governors. Some governors have convened cabinet meetings to deliberate on the decision before implementation, while some have opted to deny the directive altogether. In Nakuru, the Level 5 hospital medical superintendent Dr. Joseph Mburu said that they will continue serving the public until they receive directives from the governor. In a similar case was witnessed in Bungoma and Machakos counties.
This is the right time now to show leadership na waweze kuweza kuresolve hii maneno kwa wakati ufaao, because Senate ndio inapaswa kuprotect devolution. Na when they drag themselves in Senate, they are affecting devolution, and they are going against the spirit of devolution.
Well, also, the Health Workers Union want the National Treasury to release funds for continuity of services in counties, even as the Senate continues to deliberate on the revenue sharing formula. In a joint statement today, doctors, nurses, clinicians, and also officials from other unions have called on the Council of Governors to use the provision of the law to access funds and pay their workers. Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako said that the county workers have not been paid for the last 3 months, yet the lawmakers are busy in the Senate speaking what he says as big English. Panyako said that health is a shared function, and in case of crisis, the parent ministry should step in.
Mr. President, I'm addressing you. You are the one who has caused this problem. You must take responsibility. The buck stops with you. Health is not a devolved function. Health is a shared function. The Constitution is very clear that when there is a crisis in a shared function, the parent ministry must take over those responsibilities. So, Minister of Health, you cannot sit there and take a tea of 1 million in a day and county government workers are suffering. No, something is wrong with the government. Something is extremely wrong. Senators are running salaries. Why did the governors, they are abusing the Senate, have not earned for the last 3 months? Why the county employees have not earned for the last 3 months? And they are busy speaking big English in the Senate. And they are thinking that Kenyans, we are stupid. We are not stupid. I want to the Senate, I'm telling you, you have failed Kenyans.
Well, the health workers are pissed. We can tell by what Seth Panyako is saying in that interview there. Remember, I asked you the question, do you think Kenya is broke? Do you think Kenya and Kenyans are broke. And this is Wesonga Yuda Khan, and you're saying, hi, Kenya is not broke, it's the thievery and mismanagement that's the problem. I want to hear from you. Do you think our country is broke? And earlier on, as we are speaking about where the money is in our country, where can people find the finances? I spoke to Vincent Osewe, who is a financial advisor, and I started off by asking him the very same question. Listen in.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for inviting me here to speak to the audience.
Yes.
And well, the question of being broke is a tough call, actually, because when we talk about either country or an individual being broke, there are so many things that we need to bring into our understanding. For example, I want us to look at the economy, the way the economy is at the moment, the way the economy is operating, and basically what it is that makes somebody think that actually there's the aspect of being broke. Kenya as a country has several policies which have been implemented over time. I want to pick some specific recent policies which has resulted into the kind of thinking of people being broke. For example, in the recent future, we will be expecting to see that actually if something else is done, then we could be seeing a lot of activities coming up within the economy.
Yeah.
Now, in the recent past, there is something that the government came up with, which was basically to change the currency that we have, the 1,000 currency, and that is kind of resulting into what we call demonetization. A lot of money was pulled from the economy, of course, back to the commercial institutions, and specifically the financial institutions like the banks, and then eventually to the central bank. Then, of course, you can see at the moment there is a lot of fight against corruption and here and there.
Yeah.
The fight against corruption actually means that the country gets to pull off the amounts which were somehow taken to the economy in some illegal ways, so that at least there is only clean money within the economy. Those who have that kind of money, which, for example, they got through corruption, will be very quick to hide the money, if I use that term, and essentially you'll get that very little money is left to circulate within the economy. And then probably you can also attest to the fact that Kenyans have been saying there is a very high level of taxation. Kenyans are heavily taxed. Those are tax burden. You see what happens when there is very high level of taxation, then it means that the government is pulling a lot of money from the economy, and therefore less is left in circulation.
Yeah.
So you and myself, the Atieno, the Wanjikus, will be saying that now there is very little that I have in my pocket.
Yeah.
There is very little that my neighbor has in his or her pocket. And basically, we could say that we are broke in that instance.
Okay.
I've also seen lastly on this matter, the aspect of the government borrowing money time and time again.
Exactly. You know?
At the end of the period, they have to pay, isn't it?
Yes.
And you can as well attest to the fact that the government is also borrowing from the local economy. That's the domestic borrowing. When they have the domestic borrowing, they're sucking money from the economy and then, of course, using those ones to pay out the external public debt. We will definitely expect that little is left in circulation in the economy. So Kenyans will definitely say that they are broke.
Okay. Whew, okay. That is a sad truth, you know. I was waiting for you to tell me, oh, Sarah, we're not broke. We're just channeling money in wrong directions. But okay, I get it now. We are broke because of one reason or another. But we have to live on, you know. We have to continue with our lifestyles, either our businesses or even just maintaining a standard of our own. So where would you advise people to get this money from now that the circulation is a bit low when it comes to the common mwananchi, the amount that we get?
I want to make this as a collective responsibility, and I want to look at an economy in a very simple way. I want to look at it from the angle of the government, and I want to look at it from you and myself.
Yes.
The key players now within the economy. There are things that the government definitely needs to do. There are things that you and myself need to do. The very first aspect of making an economy to be very active is basically to ensure that more money is offloaded to the economy. That basically means that the government needs to come up with key policies, development policies, to ensure that there is a lot of money that now will leave the government institutions. And of course, when I talk about the government institution, I'm talking about the national government, the county government, and so on and so forth. Of course, to now circulate freely within the economy. When the money velocity is increased in the economy, then you and myself will have the access to that money, and definitely at the end of the period, we can use it for our economic activities. The government simply needs to come up with some of the key business enterprise development activities or policies, so that at the end of the period, those policies that the government will channel will enable you and myself to have employment opportunities, employ other people, receive more money, and then of course that will end the current situations that we have. There are of course other things that people need to play, and I said I look at it in two aspects. You and myself now in this area. Not the current situation as it is, basically in the context of education. Most people or the public are somehow trained, majority are trained to look at the education in the aspect of I'm going to school, once I graduate, at the end of the period, I will look for employment. Not a good aspect as it is now. Perhaps we need to change that mentality as well. And then say, instead of let me look for a job, we look at, can we go to school, get the necessary knowledge, the skills that are necessary for us to start up business enterprises, and then of course employ other people. That is the area that people need to be really thinking about.
I get your point, and I want us to talk from the point of view of a common mwananchi, a business person. Is it right for a business person right now to go to the financial institutions, the banks, to get finances, because they need to put their businesses to stay afloat? Is it right for us to look for loans right now, or even borrow money from our friends, or even the Shylocks? Sorry about that.
Now, when we're looking at the business point of view, what we need to ask ourselves is, are we talking of startup business, or are we talking of an enterprise which has been there and simply needs to scale out? When we look at startup businesses, that is a very small level of looking at it. But when you look at it on a larger scale, then there is a very bigger impact in that context. Now, for the startup businesses, we simply need to ask ourselves the key sources of capital which they can use to start up their enterprises. For instance, the business angels for the startup business, if you have a very good business idea, some idea that you really understand, you have tried it and it has worked out, then you can approach somebody who has some money, and then of course from there you are able to get your capital, you are able to start up your small business, and then you can progress. You will equally employ other people in that angle. If you're talking about a business that has already established, then there are other key sources for it. For instance, the business can look at the retained earnings, whatever they have been saving for some time. They can use that one as a source of capital. And I don't want to rule out the fact that you can actually get capital from a financial institution. There are financial institutions which will provide capital at very favorable rates. And of course, that can equally be used as a source of capital, which you can use and of course improve in terms of your business.
I like that. Well, statistics have it that by the year 2022, that is unfortunately fortunately, when we'll be having our elections, they say that 52% of Kenyans will be living below the poverty lines. That means they'll be surviving in less than $1 a day.
Yes.
Do you think there's something that we can do, maybe as the common mwananchi or even as the government, to prevent this from happening?
Now, when I look at 2022 is approximately barely 3 months away, just barely 3 months away. And where are we at the moment? Most Kenyans are actually living below the poverty line. That is the sad reality that we need to accept. So the question is, are we going to add more and more people into this scale? Or what is it that we can do so that we reduce the number of people who are living in that poverty level to a certain level, desirable level? the government needs to come in really quick. And I'm using the word really quick because it is necessary. We have seen whatever happens during electioneering periods and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
If you look at 1 year and 3 months from now, and elections coming in, other activities, of course, are going to settle in, and that may really jeopardize the aspect of growth of an economy. The government simply needs to come up with policies, with regulations, which promote enterprise development for youth, and of course, which stabilize the existing enterprises so that more job opportunities are created. When I talk of the existing enterprise, for example, look at, let me just pick Tuskys supermarket. That is one key enterprise that people are very well conversant with. And we know whatever is happening at the moment, they are currently facing a lot of challenges. If Tuskys supermarket goes down now, following the Uchumi one, following the Nakumat one, how many employment opportunities are we losing? There's a lot. A trend. Basically, that means the government needs to come up with policies, regulations, which will promote those enterprise development, both new enterprises and the existing enterprises. That will definitely create more job opportunities, and of course, it will help to ease the burden of the common mwananchi. I don't want to leave out the fact that if you look at the current economy as it is, Kenyans are heavily taxed. You know, the tax burden is so huge, both at the corporate sector and at the individual sector. The question is, what is it that the government needs to do so that at the end of the period, the government can collect its revenue, and at the same time, the individual and the corporations can develop in that aspect. Probably the government needs to look at the level of taxation. I am one person who thinks of the issue of increasing the level of taxes does not really result into more revenue for the government. What about if you reduce that level of taxation, and then you'll be getting more people that you are going to tax, but at low rates? You will get more revenue as the government. So probably the government need to check on that aspect. I don't know how fast that can be, but we know that there's usually lagged time when a specific policy is applied. But I want to be very optimistic that if a government comes up and implements that with a lot of positivity, then we are likely to see some positive indicators in the economy.
Wow, I like that. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you have shed light on this situation, because it's affecting not only me, but I'm sure even our viewers and listeners are being affected when it comes to money circulation in our markets.
Very true. The economy is totally in effect. We have the negative effects. We have the negative aspect in terms of growth. We have the negative aspect in terms of development. We have the negative aspect in terms of the policies. I don't know. Maybe the political aspect. Let me tell you, the country, probably we need to look at the issue of our politics, how we do politics. Because all these policies, the policies affecting the amount of money in circulation, the policies to do with reflating the economy, are heavily affected by the level of politics within the country. When we have poor political dynamics, then we expect negative impact in the economy.
In the economy,
I think it is positive. We expect better. And now that we have not been seeing better economy in terms of the development, we can say that our politics is not good. It does not make sense for the economy.
All right. Well, asante sana, Mr. Vincent. I really appreciate that. We're just from having that very, very educative conversation with Mr. Vincent Osewa, financial advisor. And here we have Shisia saying, Sarah, we're not broke. See, last week to Kenya, we were given a AU of 30 million shillings for free to help them fight COVID. So we are not broke. That is according to you. Thank you so much. And then this is my brother. And your name is Sami, listening in from Nakuru. And you're saying, I'm enjoying myself from that business perspective. Tell that brother to talk about the monetary tools that should be applied to rectify the economic situation in the country. That has been taken into consideration, and we'll be looking more into that and maybe carry forward with this discussion. Alafu, this is Sheila. And Sheila, you're saying, thank you for the show. I like what that guy has said, that si ati pesa hakuna, it's just that those that have the money wana feature because they are corrupt, and that reduces the circulation to the common mwananchi. Yes, Sheila, thank you so much for that and for tuning in today. Well, in other news, 4 university students are being held at Central Police Station after they led a demonstration in Mombasa to raise their concerns over the continued closure of universities in the country. The students want the government to open universities, saying that they can adhere to the COVID-19 regulations. Some of the students claim they are still paying for the hostels even after the closure of their schools. And earlier this week, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha announced that the president will provide the way forward on how the schools will be reopened after a report from the experts.
So there's no way the president can continue telling us that we be at home ilhali hao wanafanya mambo yao. We have seen those who have stolen our money. Billions of money have been stolen in the Ministry of Education. Hizo pesa ziko wapi? Wale wenye COVID-19 thieves, billionaires, hao wangekuwa vizuri wa channel their contribution to Ministry of Education ili tu wanafunzi wote waweze kurudi shule. It is very shameful for Professor Magoha to come out each and every day to be looked as a confused element. We want to tell Magoha, we thought we were done with you, with your confusion at the University of University of Nairobi, but you have brought your confusion up to the Ministry of Education. So we are requesting you, Dr. Magoha, please come out very clean, tell us exact date, exact day, exact time we are going to go back to school. Yeah.
I think the curve is flattening of COVID-19. And when the curve is flattening, meaning we are seeing hope of us going back to school. Two, as this SG has spoken, that we have been seeing politicians holding rallies. Also, those are questions that we are asking. Why are they holding rallies, yet we are supposed to be at school? Because they've been holding rallies each and every time. Even the president himself, he tells us that we should be at home, we should social distance, we should wash our hands, and he himself is holding rallies where thousands and thousands of people are attending without following the guidance of World Health.
Still in Mombasa, a 30-year-old woman who has been sleeping in the cold for 5 days now with her 3-month-old baby after her husband allegedly kicked her out. Lucy Auma has been rescued, and she also ended up losing her 2 children whose whereabouts are still unknown, and she's now come out seeking justice after the police failed to arrest the suspect.
Nilikuwa nimeenda kibaruani, nikirudi kwa nyumba nikamkuta amelewa. Akaanza tu kelele ati wewe umetoka wapi? Nikamwambia mimi nimetoka huku kutafuta kibarua huku nikapata kidogo. Sasa alikuwa anataka hizo pesa zangu ninunue nao chakula, zingine nimpe, nikakataa. Ndio akaanza kunichapa. Vile alikuwa ananipiga, akaa anachukua mwiko, akanipiga na mwiko na sufuria. Akaa anataka kuchukua huo mtoto amnyonge, mimi nikakimbia naye. Na huo mtoto mwenyewe alikuwa anataka anamnyonga nikamzuia. Ndio akaa ananipiga mdomo.
Juzi kitu kama saa 2:00 nilikuwa natoka shughuli zangu, nikawa naingia nyumbani, nikamwona mama na mtoto analia nje ya nyumba yetu. Nikifuatilizia nikamuuliza ni kitu gani kilichomsibu, akanambia kwamba amepigwa, ameng'olewa jino na akawa ana alama kwa mwili wake. Na pia vile vile nikimwangalia mtoto akawa ana mahali mtoto amefura. Nikimuulizia nini kilichomsibu, akanambia ni kwamba alipigwa na bwanake.
Niliripoti vile nilitibiwa hiyo, nikatibiwa Makadara Coast General, kajaza hizo mapitri. Nikirudi Nyalo akaniambia tutaenda kumchukua. Sasa kila nikipiga simu ananiambia kesho, sioni wakienda kumchukua.
Vile huyu bwana alifanya hiki kitendo, naomba serikali iweze kuchukua mkono haraka ili huyu mama apate watoto wake, manake bwana mwenyewe umwambia ni mlevi. Mtu mlevi ni kama mwandazimu tu. Sasa hiyo hajulikani, mama mwenyewe hajakula siku 3, hajui watoto wake wako wapi.
All right. In other news now, the contractors undertaking government projects in Kajiado County have been warned against doing a shoddy job in the construction of police houses in that area. While inspecting the projects, Transport CAS Wavinyandeti said that a lot of money has been put into the development of housing units, and it's high time that the stalling by the contractors is dealt with the right way.
This program alone, this one is 122,960,745. Hiyo ni pesa mingi tumeweka for project to stall. Kwa hivyo contractors, we are putting you on notice. Hatuna furaha ile tumeona. Kwa hivyo contractor akuja ajisort kwa ground na amalize hii project.
Ukiangalia yale mazingira askari wanaishi katika Kajiado County saizi, wito wangu kwa yule mwanakandarasi, nataka kumwambia hivi: tumeona ameanza kucheza. Uwezo ukachelewa miaka 3 bila kumaliza mradi kama huu ambao ni wa muhimu sana. So waziri, tunataka kukuhakikishia kuanzia leo huyu tutapambana naye kabisa.
Huu mradi na mingine pia inatumia teknolojia ya kisasa, na sababu ya kutumia hii teknolojia kwa ni ya kufanya kazi kwenda mbio. Lakini tumepata shida kwamba watu wetu hawajapata hiyo teknoloji, haijawasaidia vile ilikuwa imetajua itawasaidia.
All right, well, at least something is being done about the living conditions of our police officers. Right? And talking of storms, Tropical Storm Sally has left more than 500,000 Americans without power as its terrestrial rain and storm surge lashed the U.S. Gulf Coast. Sally weakened after it made a landfall as a Category 2 hurricane yesterday, but the slow-moving storm continued to batter Florida and Alabama. One person was killed and hundreds were rescued from the flooding water. And Pensacola in Florida was badly hit with a loose barge bringing down part of the Bay Bridge. The storm has brought 4 months of rain in 4 hours, and this is according to the city Pensacola chief, that is Jeannie Cranor, and he said that one person died and another one was missing in the town of Orange Bay, Alabama, and the mayor said this without giving further details.
Everything is underwater. Buildings. This is crazy.
Are you kind of scared at this point?
Definitely. I mean, yes, I'm in a secure building, but definitely, not just for myself, but people around us that are not up as high as we are. I mean, there's got to be people that were left in their offices, you know, things like that at this point. Hopefully, everybody got out okay, but I feel for the people that do not have as much storage as we have here.
Even in the storm, we pray that the Lord will be their lighthouse, as it is said in the other song that we just played. Well, the U.S. President Donald Trump has hailed the dawn of a new Middle East amid Israel's landmark deal with the United Arab Emirates, that is the UAE, and Bahrain. The president, Mr. Trump, spoke as the two Gulf states signed agreements fully normalizing their relationships with Israel. The three countries hailed the deal as historic, and did Mr. Trump, whose administration helped to broker them together. While the Gulf states are just the third and fourth Arab countries to recognize Israel since the founding in 1948, and Mr. Trump hopes that other countries will follow suit, but the Palestinians have urged them not to, while their conflicts remain unsolved.
On the White House South Lawn, before a packed crowd, many not wearing a mask, history was indeed made today.
We'll sign a treaty of peace, diplomatic relations, and full normalization.
Israel's prime minister and the foreign ministers from Bahrain and the UAE joining President Trump to officially normalize diplomatic relations with Israel, the first Arab countries to do so in decades.
To all of Israel's friends in the Middle East, I say, Assalamu alaikum, peace unto thee.
The agreements mean embassies will be opened in each other's countries. Commercial flights can operate between nations.
Together, these agreements will serve as the foundation for a comprehensive peace across the entire region.
President Trump proclaiming this a peace agreement, but the countries were not at war. And left out of the deal, the Palestinians, who call the agreement a betrayal.
At some point when they decide that they want to live better lives, I believe that they'll engage.
Well, that is the Palestinians. And for decades now, most Arab states have boycotted Israel, insisting that they will only establish a relationship if they settle their dispute with the Palestinians. Well, that is what is happening. But at least there is some good news. Their relationship is slowly improving. Thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. Fresha Wairimu, asante sana for the compliments. I'm getting back to you in a couple of minutes. But for now, it's good night from me and the team of This Is The Day and Family Media as a whole. I will see you tomorrow. My name is Sarah Otieno.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.